Jonesy.
Back again.
Back again, mate. Good to be here.
Thank you, Blake. Well, I'm Mark Jones and I'm the Managing Director of Your Digital Solution. What do you do?
And I am Blake Barth. I'm the National Operations Manager of Real Bytes. I should get rid of that title, really, shouldn't I? Too long.
It's a mouthful.
It's AI. It's really,
Good thing it's not your email address.
I know. What are we here to talk about today?
We are talking about what AI can't do.
Very topical at the moment.
And in many ways, for me as a marketer especially, why that's a good thing, because, the marketing category is an area where I think lots of people are feeling quite safe to pick up and play. And that's largely harmless if we're just playing on our desk. But when we start taking those, thought bubbles and then anchoring our entire company's future and marketing success on it.
Budgets.
That feels super dangerous to me.
Yep.
And I heard this quote just last week, which was, I'm going to go back to it. A focused fool will outperform a genius every time.
I really like that.
And I like that because that focused fool is really the person who understands, and forgive me, I'm not accusing anyone of being a fool who's listening, but you know your business better than anyone. And whilst AI has the dance moves, you've got the passion and the feelings, you know what's in your business, you know what works. You can't replace that taste and you go, this doesn't feel right for us, thanks.
Yeah, and I don't want to be marketed to by AI. That human approach, you see it all the time, pop up in our Facebooks and our Google ads. It's like, did a machine write that?
Totally.
Yeah. Worrying.
Isn't it getting tough to pick it apart? I think all of us are starting to feel like we can pick it, and I reckon that's just when we stop being able to pick it.
I keep seeing those nice little fat lines, and they're like, that wasn't written by that. And marketers letting that get in, and where's that human approach again?
Yeah. So we have a saying that I've mentioned on a prior sort of chat, but if organic people have to read it, then organic people should be writing it.
Yep.
If it's mostly going to be read by a digital entity, being Google or some other machine-read item, and it's just really there for servicing data or search engine optimization, then it's probably okay if it's mostly written by a silicon chip.
So LinkedIn, right, where all of these people are just using that to write there.
But I love that. That's a great example. How many of us feel any sort of affinity with that person spewing out 10 seconds later when we connect with them, this automated message that, look, I'm okay if they give me something that says, hey, here's something I've been working on I thought you might like. I hate when they feign a real connection.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
You know that they're not sitting at their desk.
And all of these office professionals we work with are under all this time constraints, so they're probably getting another AI generated message.
Yeah.
Why would you respond to that?
Keep it real. And look, if it's not worth taking a moment to send a message, perhaps sometimes it's not worth sending the message, in an automated fashion. Having said that, I'm a big fan of automation, big fan of reach. Absolutely, we work in a world of percentages, conversion rates.
Time and place.
We've got to kiss a lot of frogs in digital marketing, but not so many that, don't want those frogs kissing back.
Coming back to it, what can AI do and what can't AI do in a digital marketing space?
Yeah, AI is amazing for refining my core thought and expanding that or taking that down a certain angle. It's amazing at generating lots and lots of iterations and ideas and intersections on an idea that I wouldn't have possibly come up with.
Yeah, that expanded thought bubble.
Just lots of stuff. I'm a pretty creative guy, but I'm still not going to give you 50 concepts in 5 seconds, right? No one can do that. In fact, one of my greatest little tips that I'm happy to share is sometimes we're trying to find a hook, an angle, a reason for someone to pay attention. And one of the tricks there that I've found, which doesn't always deliver great results, but there'll be one or two good ideas that come from this. I have a book, a PDF called 100 Big Fat Hooks for Marketing. I use that as a reference point and I upload that, and then I'll put in my conundrum I'm trying to get through for a marketing puzzle, and I'll ask it to reference a book and give me 20 examples out of that. And that often comes back with some really interesting fruit.
That's that really smart use of AI. That's something AI can do.
Yeah, it can sort of reflect what my question against a resource that I've given it. So that's kind of cool. But what it can't do, it can't read people.
Oh, people, absolutely.
It
can't replace people.
Won't replace people. Now, again, going back to that quote, a focused fool, will outperform a genius. And if AI on its own is the genius, I think the person who understands their own business intimately and understands their customers,
it's the passion that comes
empathy,
through from that,
and then give them AI, Well, that's powerful. That's the turbocharger on the engine versus it being the other way around. You don't want a turbocharger that's 5 times the size of the engine. That's not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it drives that marketing, right? If you can empower these office professionals and people with AI, that's great, but it can't replace them.
Yeah. The other things we find really tricky is AI tends to struggle checking its own work.
As it would. It's fact and logical driven. It's got no emotion in it.
So I even tried a little thought exercise using a tool called make.com, where I actually had one AI tool generating an answer, another AI checking, a different AI tool checking that AI tool's answer, and it couldn't get me any confidence level that said this is working. Yep. So it was quite interesting. So I'm sure there'll be AI researchers and programmers who'll be able to show us how this can be done. But I'm coming at this, we're talking today with the aim of helping office professionals and folks who aren't deeply technical. I find it very difficult as a person pretty well schooled with the
nuances,
the enthusiastic amateurs' use and adoption of AI tools. I haven't found a way to have it check its own work. And the other thing is proving out sources. So it's getting better since it opened up to the web earlier this year. But late last year, did a little exercise. We were doing some research, and we asked the ChatGPT to give us its sources. It was actually manufacturing the sources,
making it all up.
They look like a link, but they're not even linking it. So it's really interesting to try and test that. So validating numbers that it uses. I threw in a P&L recently and asked it to run some numbers out of it. And when we came back to check them, it had artificially enhanced some of those numbers somehow. Yep. And I had to longhand work through
which
to find
is such a risk for board documents and reports that you want really and you trust it, but it doesn't replace a human again, Yeah.
Now again, I'll just backtrack on that a little. I asked it a very top line question. And then when I went back with more specific questions, it stayed true to the calculation. So I'm not saying it can't do that, but validating numbers, proving sources, checking its own work, kind of just stick to the knitting I've given you rather than making this a grandiose answer beyond what I require. I find that challenging.
And it's like that in IT and marketing. We have these wonderful alerts that come up on a switch that says that one's not given enough power, and you go and check it. It's because the cable's loose, but it doesn't know that, right?
No, that's right. It's just getting what it's getting.
That human factor has to be involved every time. Same as marketing, human factor has to be involved.
Absolutely. So that human interface, that person who helps understand, interpret, have empathy, turn that into... So, for example, I've seen tools that will take 3 sentences and create a complete website for a business,
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Super cool. And it can reference sites similar. It'll give you the average of what those sites typically look like. However, if I were to take that and run with that, there's no unique angle, there's no brand
cookie
affinity.
cutter. It's all
totally cookie cutter. And what you'll look like is the average of the existing businesses out there.
Of everybody else, you look the same.
And I don't think anyone's ever given me a brief like that. I want to be the average of all the competitors, thanks.
Yep.
Hasn't happened
yet.
I
want to stand out, right, in marketing. That's how our marketing works. You want to be in front of everybody.
So, Seth Godin, Purple Cow, standing out, cutting through, getting people's attention quickly. So I think where I think in marketing particularly, AI will become an amazing tool is when it amplifies the efforts and cut through of people who understand marketing. They can think about where a business sits and what it's unique for and wants to be found for, then that'll be really powerful. So caution sign being held up for don't give this thing the nub of an idea and expect it to create magic. It's not going to happen.
Especially in this space, every other day I'm getting marketing ads for these lovely term I just heard, dude bro, IT companies. John's just come out of uni, he's got his bachelor's, never had any real world experience using these AI tools, and we're having to go in weeks later and go, you didn't put the right license in, or your data's now in Singapore, X, Y, Z. I'm sure you're seeing that in marketing too, where people are thinking it's the godsend of the world without any common sense.
Absolutely. The other connection I have with that is that they don't actually have any sense of benchmarks. What experience gives you is, when am I actually supposed to be happy or sad about the performance of my campaign? When am I spending too much or maybe not enough to get a result? And that experience in the market and understanding what to look for is really important to help us encourage our clients to run faster, pull back,
those
change
real
direction.
world learned skills that from just pure trial and error over all the years. I remember that analogy. It's like you're not paying the trades professional, whatever, the $10 to do the job. You're paying them the $100 because it takes 10 minutes, And it's like that in marketing. I assume you're not, while some of this stuff might be cost, you're paying for that years and years and years of experience that a computer can't replace.
That's right. And look, it'll get better. And we want to be actually masters of using these tools because what do? Our job is to get leads into clients' businesses. So if the step preceding that was to build a website, do some ads, spend a bit of money, get some eyeballs on it, they come through and make an inquiry. Happy days. If I can shorten that using tools, I'm absolutely going to do that.
It benefits everybody, right?
Yeah,
you,
we
the
can
customer.
if we can create and make more impactful, engaging imagery quicker, we're absolutely going to do that. But if we also don't know when we've gone off the reserve and we're off track and we've lost our way,
chartering your own adventure over here,
then we're still wasteful. And so rapid iterations, knowing what the end point looks like, having clear targets and goals, super important.
It's that agency of skill because you've done it and you've done it almost like AI yourself over and over and over again. You know what's worked and what hasn't worked in the past. You're not off on the charter your own adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the key in a lot of this is like any tool. Knowing where and when and why to use it. I used to talk a lot about, and you and I were talking this before, how to be successful in IT now and in digital marketing now, you really have to know a lot about a lot of areas. It's quite an extensive sort of knowledge base, and the tricky bit with that is you have to know which tool to pull out of the kit bag for different situations. And when I meet people who are pretty new, the dude bros of the world, which I would have been one when I first started, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You start somewhere, but it'd be kind of like having a doctor come to your house because you've got a sore throat, but the only thing they know how to use is a scalpel.
Right tool for the right job.
Yeah, can we not just use that one tool for everything that's wrong?
Throat lozenges first, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can cut my tonsils out, but I hope that's the problem.
And we see that in our industry all the time. They rock up with these new flash dangled monitors and meters, but they don't actually understand what they're doing. They just plug it in and it goes error, but they don't understand why there's an error, and it's all that.
So going back to the office professionals who might be listening today, it's sort of really thinking about the right tool for the right job. AI does not do everything well.
It doesn't replace them. It doesn't replace what they do. That human-centric factor is still so important.
Yeah, but if they can find those tools that can accelerate getting certain things done, where there's still a clear line of sight to a check and balance, that I haven't embarrassed myself, embarrassed the company, given away trade secrets, then I think we're on the way to using AI in the right way.
Perfect.
Yeah.